What is creative strategy? A creative strategy is the organizing plan of action for a creative idea. POT are the three outputs that a creative strategist is involved in: platform, orchestration, and tactics. Platform. First, they clarify what the idea platform that is being executed is. This is an understanding of the essence of the idea. Then the job is to orchestrate all the different executions in a campaign so they make sense together. Then finally, it's to brief in all the tactics so that they adhere to the main idea and then also the channels that they are coming to life in. In this video, we're going to talk about why it's important when to create the creative strategy, the difference between brand strategy and creative strategy, an example of creative strategy, and finally, the common mistakes made. 1. Building bricks. A creative strategy is important because with integrated work, we're often going across a number of executions which span different mediums and moments. We want to make sure that there is one organizing idea that all the executions are laddering up to. Every execution is adding another brick on the wall rather than tossing another brick in the rubble. 2. Channel sense. Also, with technology creating new ways to communicate with consumers, it's important that our executions make sense in the new channels. We have all seen the TV ad slapped in Facebook, which doesn't make sense for that environment. A creative strategist ensures this doesn't happen. 3. Connecting the pipes. With integrated campaigns becoming more complex, we now need one person who is in charge of making sure that the user experience through all the touch points makes sense. Understanding this before you start briefing in work is essential. We want to make sure that all the pieces work together. If we are telling them to go to a website, we want to ensure that the website makes sense from the last place they've been. 4. Different creatives. With clients having more specialized agencies, having cohesion over all these different channels is important. So having a clear creative strategy helps creatives who may not have come up with the original idea to make sense of it for other executions. Creative strategy begins with the creatives who have come up with the idea. This can come to life in a number of forms. It could be a poster they created, a manifesto, or a TV ad. The first role of coming up with the idea platform is essential at this step. Once the platform is nailed, it is now time to come up with the orchestration of the campaign. The creative strategist work with the media agency and own channels to work out what executions are going to be made and how they will all interact with each other. Once the orchestration has been created, now the creative strategist needs to write the specific briefs involved in this campaign. The difference between creative strategy and brand strategy is that brand strategy happens at a higher level. It is a strategy that never changes over time. It is telling you the higher order pieces that need to come to life in this creative campaign and all future campaigns. Whereas the creative strategy is based on an execution. Elements of the brand strategy will come to life in the creative strategy. A creative strategist requires someone who has a good understanding of creative ideas and can help articulate abstract concepts. They have a good understanding of channels and they're good at orchestrating the pieces together. In the last few years, the understanding of the channels, especially social media, has meant that a number of creative strategists have come through social media. They are experts in the channels and now they are being asked to do the idea platform as well as orchestration. Creative strategists tend to be people who feel more comfortable with helping to amplify and making an idea better, rather than starting with a blank piece of paper. Often, they have not been formally trained in strategy, so having creative and strategy in their title might make them feel more comfortable than just straight strategists. So let's take this campaign for Miller Lite's It's Miller Time.
There's ha-ha-hiing with your friends. And then there's with your friends. Here's to the original social media. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
we'll break it down into the 3 things that a creative strategist has to do. Create the idea formula, create the ecosystem, and then finally have the tactical briefs. Let's start off with the creative strategy idea platform. In the Planning Dirty Academy, we teach how to define an idea platform. Using the idea platform statement, the creative strategist may have worked with the creatives to come up with the following creative platform. For its Miller time, we see that they have taken an old tagline and breathed new life into it. The creative idea formula for this line would have been Miller time is about doing what you really want versus what everyone else expects you to do. Every creative idea should demonstrate that we often do the things that we don't want to when really we want to be hanging out with friends, and consequently, hanging out with friends happens to be when we're drinking Miller Lite. In the ad, we can see they always pick an enemy to doing what you want. For instance, in one spot, the main character is buying a couch instead of hanging out with friends watching football. Another one, having afternoon tea with the family instead of hanging out with friends. And lastly, it is attending your work Christmas party instead of being with friends. The ecosystem we're going to show for this ad is the one they created for the Shoezy, which is a beer koozie in the shape of the ultimate dad shoe, the white New Balance, and making it into a beer holder for Father's Day. We've taken an ecosystem from the Framework Factory, which is 50+ frameworks in a document that you get when you sign up to the Planning Dirty Academy. For this, we see that there are a number of moving parts within this execution. We have the print ads, which we can see go out to sneaker collector publications and general pop culture. We also post them on our social and Amazon banners in the lead up to Father's Day. All this leads everyone to a website. The website has 2 phases, pre-launch and then the launch of the shoe. We need to show the fulfillment of the shoes when people order. We also are going to be sending those shoes out to influencers for Father's Day as well. This shows all the moving elements of the campaign. Finally, we need to brief in all the creative executions with the tactical briefs, showing how the idea comes to life in that channel. So we use the get who to buy formula with a small variation on it with the where statement. Get young adults who are forced to do things they don't want to be doing to show what really brings them joy is having a beer and hanging with friends by giving them a hero for doing what you want no matter what anyone else wants, which is your dad, where on Amazon banners when kids are looking for the ideal presents for their dad who has it all. It's not the TikTok resident expert. Creative strategy can be just coming up with creative ideas for new media channels. This is unfortunately what a lot of creative strategists get pigeonholed into. You're the expert in TikTok at the agency. Can you make our TV ad make sense for TikTok? As we've seen, channel knowledge is only one small piece of the overall pie. Straightforward requests don't need it. You don't always need a creative strategy. If you have a straightforward request, like create some banners, then you don't need to go over the top with a full creative strategy. It should be reserved for the moments where you have a number of integrated executions all working together. Needs a clear idea. Creative strategy is not helpful if we don't know what the idea platform is, because then we're coming up with ideas that might just be taking executional elements rather than what's central to the idea. Let me know if that makes sense and if you'd like to know anything else about the role of a creative strategist. For more videos on strategy, you can check out my video on how to write a creative brief with Seamless and my creative brief for Cheetos.